Alright, should be coming up any second now. Voila! Voila!
Nice.
Alright, let me make sure my volumes and stuff are right so I don't over talk myself and whatnot. Okay, here we go. My name is Tenma. I am a peon, all that kind of good stuff. Basically, I'm going to kind of walk you through the very basics all the way up, how to create your different forges, how to create different items, and get yourself to the point where you're actually making something in the game. I played quite a bit of the alpha. I was one of the actual people that worked on the mega claim, which at this point is not possible at all in the game because they patched it. We overloaded their servers, and but yeah, there's a video of it on the forums, and you can actually see how much work and how much we actually did on it. The current location that I'm sitting at right here, if you look right behind me over here, there's a guy named Dephonic over there. He's the one that led up the group called the Lethality Group, and they asked that I come and help them work on the mega claim, and I jumped in on it and got to meet Dave Jorgensen and some of the other developers, and actually got to sit down and talk to them in TeamSpeak and all that kind of good stuff, and had a lot of good fun with it. So let's get started. Right now, if you're first entering into the game, if you look down at your hotbar down here at the very bottom, you'll see a stone pick and you'll see a stone axe. That is your starter items, and basically what you want to do is get to the next level on both of these two items. The first thing that you want to do is walk around the area in the very beginning. You'll come in on a tier 1 zone point, but around the hub here you'll see little patches of colors, like sort of like this blue patch here. But what you're looking for is one that looks like a reddish, orangish color, which will be copper. You want to farm as much of that as possible, and in the process you're going to be collecting these materials. Over here on your side panel here, you'll see pretty much all your different things you can do with your materials. But come over here to your basic metals. The first one here is copper ore, and select this particular material. And right here it'll show exactly how much of that material you have. When you go out and actually use your pick, which you click on the pick and you'll see it in your hand, you'll see a big circle here. If it's blue, that is your area that you can actually attack with, I guess you could say. If you push it out a little farther, you'll see it turns red. If it's red, you're not able to hit it, so as long as it's blue, you're good. I'm going to use this blue patch on the ground here, which is cobalt, and basically you hit the ground, but I'm too close to the hub here, and well, that's why it's not picking up anything. So let's find another one. Alright, see if I can do this one. Alright, you mine up as much of this ore as possible, and try to do like a circular pattern like this as you're going down, because it'll kind of mess up your camera view just a little bit if you get too deep, and it's also going to make it very hard to get out of that hole. But farm up as much of that item as possible. I'm going to have to mute my ventrilo. It's making too much racket. I have an upgraded pick. I have totally upgraded items, and that was because within the first 4 hours I had all my upgraded materials, and I also had all my tools and everything, because of the group I've been working with. But as you can see, I've pretty much mined up all of the cobalt, and now you see this other color, and it's red. Almost every material that you get, there is a primary and a secondary material. The primary material is always going to be on top, and wherever the bottom of it is where that secondary material is going to be. For the starters, you know, you're working with copper, and you're also going to find tin at the very end of it. Those are your two base items. Once you get enough of a particular item, you can come back to the hub and use the forges and the little, you know, saw table thing that's up here. It will you'll be able to create some of your other items. And like here you see a stone pick is what you come in the game with, and then you have copper pick. That's the one that you want to create first. It'll actually allow you to mine up the next tier of materials, and it's kind of what you're going for. It'll also, you want to get a tin axe. These are the two that you need to make first in the game. And once you get those two done, you want to start making some of your other items, which is, let's see if I think it's in the other here. It's over here at the saw table. Yeah, right here where it says crafting stations. You have these are the 4 basic crafting stations to allow you to make other items, to go up to the next level in your pickaxes, your actual wood cutting axe, and you'll also be able to make a sickle, which you can actually farm up stuff like cotton to be able to make outfits that you can wear. You can also make my favorite, which I think it's Cree's favorite too, this big bad boy. This is a pulverizer. It's very cool and neat tool, and it kind of helps out on your mining. Alright, so if you're first starting out, that is kind of your goal. You want to get the next level of pick and the next level of axe so you can actually start making other stuff. You can actually skip a lot of the making of these forges for right now and actually use other people's forges. If you look over here across the way, you'll see like Hulkster, Rathlazar, and Dephonic. They've got a bunch of forges laid out. You can actually use their forges. You won't be able to use their refiners, but you can use their forges to create your next level of items. We'll kind of walk over there, and I'll show you what each looks like. And I know all these guys over here, so this is the saw table, and you'll see like the grappling hooks and all that other stuff that you can make on an actual workstation versus what you find at the hub. There, you have a lot more stuff that you can make. And over here is an alchemy station, which its primary thing that you create over here at the alchemy station is this refined wood. This is the advanced wood that I have on the forum post at Sinister Swarm. Right here is, you'll see like palm heart, and you'll see heartwood. Heartwood comes from basic trees, and palm heart comes from little small palm trees, which I'll show here in a few moments. Over here is a workbench or outfitter's table, which is where you can make your different outfits to look cool, and they've got all different kinds of colors and stuff that you can make. And you can also make your textiles. And if you notice right here, it says refining station. This is basically an upgraded version of the crafting table, but it only does refining. It does not actually make anything else except for turning cotton into cloth, or turning your different ores into ingots. But you get a bonus. So if you have, you're able to make, say, 100 ingots. Well, these upgraded forges, what you would make over here at the standard stone forge would only be 100 ingots worth. But if you did the same over here at this forge, which has, I think, 120% bonus, you would actually get 120 ingots for the same price as what would cost you 100 at one of the other forges. Okay, so it's kind of a little bit of the basics on like the different refinery stations and stuff like that. But like I said, you can use these forges and stuff on almost anybody's property as long as they don't have you locked out of it. The key thing is basically you're going to do a lot of farming. You're going to be getting as much material as possible, and as you're traveling all over the different worlds and stuff, you're going to find all different kinds of materials because each of the biomes have different types of things that it offers. I'll come here to the center here where this big rock is. This is the hub, by the way. This is where you be able to go from one server to another server, also from one server to a different island or biome type. And this listing here is the different biomes. You have, each one has its tier number. Tier 1 is where you start at. It's where you find stuff like copper, tin, iron, silver, and a few of the gem types. As you scroll down the list, you'll see like tier 2, tier 4, tier 3, and each one of these tiers has different metals and different trees that you're going to be able to find. Each one of these tiers also offers 2 different types of biomes. You have tropical, old growth forest, tundra, and desert. Those are your 4 primary biome types. So each one of these continents or islands that you go to is going to look different. Every single one of them you go to is going to be different because there's a different mismatched types between the 2. And I have a link inside of the forums that actually shows what biome types are on what servers. So basically, if I wanted to go from, say, right now I'm at Confidence Pit, which up here at the very top, I don't know if you can see it or not, it says my name, it says what server I'm on, and it says what island I'm on, which is Confidence Pit, which is a tier 4. If I wanted to go to this tier 1 canal on a different server, I'd select the server and I select, say canal, and then my green button comes up. I hit that and it would take me there. Okay, and that's pretty much how you use the hub system. If you have a particular person on your friends list, which let me drag that down here so you can see it, and you'll see people's names. I can right click a person's name, I can invite them to a party, I can remove them, and I can also teleport to that person. That is a quick way to get from one point to another, but you have to be on the same server as that person. If I am on Confidence and say Venom is over on Serenity, he cannot teleport to me because he's on a different server. But if he was on Confidence and I'm on Confidence, even though we're on a different island, he can teleport to me. Okay, let's see. The next thing I can kind of go over is what is called a portal shard. A portal shard will allow you to actually transfer from a given location, like I'm sitting here at the hub, I can use this portal shard to teleport directly to my claim that I own or where I'm working at. And I'll go over claims here in just a few moments. But you can make these in, I think it's the Stone Forge or the Saw Table. It's one or the other. Don't remember off the top of my head. But if you make about 6 or 7 of them, and just keep them in your bag, it'll help getting around a lot faster. Now I'll kind of go over the whole claim situation here, and it'll hopefully make it a little bit more sense. As I'm looking over here at this claim that's sitting over here, it looks kind of long, but if I go down here to my options, I can click on friendly claims and stranger claims, and you can see it puts a big box up in the air, and those are the actual claims. The one here in the center is most likely the primary claim. It's the first one that gets put down. Once that gets put down, you're able to put additions onto it. In other words, you add a claim to one side and a claim on the other side. It makes it larger. Right now you can have up to 2 additional claims attached. As time goes along, they're supposed to open it up to where you have 6 or 9 additional claims. To be able to put down a claim, you have to make a claim flag. And let's see, I think it's over here. Yep, it's in this particular one. It's on the saw bench, or however you want to call this thing, basic workshop. Right here you'll see claim flags. And if I click that, you'll see a claim flag and attach claim flags. The claim flag itself is actually pretty cheap to make. It doesn't take very long to get these items. It just takes a little bit of running around to get the materials for it. Once you have enough, make one and only one, because right now I think you're able to make 2, but you won't be able to put down the second one. The attached claim flag costs a little bit more. As you can see here, there's a bunch to be made, or a bunch of stuff to collect to be able to have those additional claims or additional claim flags. Once you get it, it'll be in your actual inventory. You can bring up your inventory by pressing I, your I key, and it'll drop it inside of this bag. And all you have to do is right click it, and it'll actually bring you into an overhead view where you can actually move it around using your various keys and your mouse. You can drop it down into the ground, you can bring it up into the air. The best thing to do is bring it to the top level of the ground and drop it down one box. It'll make more sense when you actually do it, which will actually pull everything together, and it'll drop your claim down. Claims, you have an upkeep cost, and once you actually put down your claim and you have a big box, like this, you'll actually be able to come over here to this bottom corner down here and open up this menu and click on claim management. Right here it says upkeep management. Now when you first drop it down, the upkeep management has been paid for 1 day. To extend it past 1 day, you have to come into this claim management and click upkeep management, and you'll see right here it costs 300 copper ore, not copper ingots, copper ore per day to keep it updated. The reason why they put this in here is because during the alpha, a lot of people put down claims and didn't do anything on it. So they made it to where over a period of time you would lose your claim, and it would allow other people to be able to take those pieces of land. Okay, so the next thing I kind of want to go over, I'm going to go over some basic commands in the game. The first is the join command. If everybody would open up, just put your mouse down there to your chat box and type /join space Sinister Swarm, all one word, all lowercase, and you'll join a Sinister Swarm channel, and that will get you into where you can actually communicate with other people that that is in the game. And as you can see, we got a bunch of people already joining here.
Yeah, the swarm has come full circle.
So you'll be able to communicate with other swarm members just by typing in there, and you'll see a tab that says Sinister Swarm. If you click that tab, it'll only talk in that particular channel, so the only people to hear you are swarm members. The default, if you talk in default channel, it'll do like a /say instead of talking in that particular one channel. I have lethality and Sinister Swarm. There's also one other channel you may want to join, which is the general channel, all lowercase. Just type /join general, and that'll get you in to be able to speak to pretty much everybody that's playing the game right now, especially other people who have played the alpha. I kind of turned mine off because it kind of got annoying after a while, but if you have questions or something, that's a good channel to join. Alright, here I'm going to bring up the overhead map, and you can actually see all the claims that have been placed down, and just like this one here, you have a center claim and 2 attached claims. That's why it looks like that. The red claims mean you have no permissions granted to you on that claim. In other words, you're not able to do anything on that claim other than look around. The blue flag is one that certain permissions have been granted. Most likely the ones over here with blue, they either know me or they have an open permission policy on it, so anybody can go over there and build in that particular claim. Right here, this flag looks a little different, and that's because, well, that's my claim. That's where I've put down a box, and I can go into there and I can do anything I want. I can also add additional claims to it as well, but I don't need it right now. It's just going to cost me more, and I really not going to deal with it right now. And you can bring up that overhead map by pressing your M key. So what I want to do right now is I want to go to my claim, and if everybody would follow me, we'll head that direction. It's going to take a little bit of time, so I'm going to ramble on. If anybody has any questions in event right now, please feel free to ask while we're doing the little traveling.
I will wait a little and then teleport to you. It's a
All
little
right.
faster.
Yeah, if everybody has me on their friends list, I'll just run over there, and you can actually use your teleport, like Creed was speaking about, and you can just come directly to where I'm at. I'm probably going to speed this whole running up a little bit by using my grappling hook. A grappling hook is one of the best things you can make for yourself in this game, because I can actually use it for to speed up running times, and I can also climb mountains and whatnot with it. And you can probably see it on the screen here shortly of me using it. cool thing is I can even grasp onto trees and be like Spider-Man. I'm getting way off course. There I am. There's my claim. You can see it out there on the distance.
Time to teleport.
Well, not quite yet. Hang tight. I haven't really built up a lot on my claim just yet. It's still in the building process because I've basically been trying to max out all of my materials so I never have to leave the site for quite some time. Let's see. Be just a moment and I will be there. This is my claim, and if you watched the video of the mega claim, that is the same gate that is on the mega claim. I saved it as a template, and I just dropped it on my site just for kind of put something on the ground. And of course my towers I'm still working on, but this is kind of where it gets interesting. Going over the tools and all the different things you can do with the various tools that you can actually make in the game. You can actually make these tools for the building. Let's see, I think it's in here. Oops, that's my refinery. Right here, this is the building tool. And as you can see, there's a smooth tool, a line tool, a paint tool, and a selection tool. These are the basic ones you can make at a stone forge, and those are the ones you see right here: the selection tool, the paint tool, and I've got them down on my bottom bar here, and kind of got them all laid out. And I'll kind of go over what each one of them does, and kind of go from there. Everybody, if I'm on your friends list, you can right click my name in your friends list over on the top right hand corner, and you can teleport to me. Yep, there. I see people coming in now. Okay, now once everybody gets here, I'll start going over some of the various tools. Man, y'all freaking me out. Like bouncing up and down. It's weird. Alright. I think this is going to be pretty much everybody, so here we go. First thing I'm going to start with is the add tool. And basically, as you can see it here, I can pretty much select wherever I want it to go. I'm going to just make a simple little shape, and I can either put it down directly like that, or I can hold my shift key, and you see how it kind of changes colors there as I press my shift key. If I hold the shift key and I click it, it'll put arrows on the ground. This is this will allow you to actually move around this object and be able to place that particular small little block pretty much anywhere you want and kind of manipulate it how you want it and whatnot. Once you get it into place, you can hit your little check key and you can see I've got it up in the air now. Alright, and from there I can take my add tool and pretty much build off of it and make whatever shape I want, like so. But that is the add tool. It's very basic. It's a matter of building up your blocks. It's the basic tool you'll probably use a good 80% of the time. The next one is the delete tool right here with the minus sign, and I can come in here and select a single voxel out of what I have dropped down, and I can delete stuff out. And you'll use that quite a bit. The next thing we're going to do is the selection tool. Now the selection tool is really cool because I can hold my mouse down and literally select a various size, just by holding my mouse down and dragging it, and select whatever exactly I'm looking to do. With this particular item selected, I can do a Control C, just like in Notepad, WordPad, any of your text document type stuff. Those same commands actually roll over into this game as well. But what I've done is did a Control C and copied that selection that I made right here. And I'm going to step back and I'm going to do a Control V as in Victor, and I can manipulate that and put it pretty much exactly where I want to. If I wanted to go into adjustment mode, I can hold Shift and click it. And I think I ran out of that material, but you kind of get the idea here. I can adjust this pretty much up and down to exactly where I wanted it to go. And I can drop down another copy of it. Okay, maybe not. I did have the materials. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is the paint tool. I'm going to select the paint tool here, and I've got copper selected over here. So with the paint tool, if I wanted to paint this particular material into another type of material type, I can actually directly do that. Let me select a different material here. Let's go with wood. I can paint over that item with something else. And basically what it does is whatever material it was, you have turned it into a different material, so you get the material that it was before back into your pack. So you don't lose the material just by repainting over something. And I have painted this as some kind of a wood texture, and so kind of get the idea of that. Now the cool thing is about this particular tool is I can the paint tool, the add tool, the delete tool all work in conjunction with the select tool. Now if I take this and I select pretty much everything that's in this box area here that I make, all that, I can take this paint tool and click that box, and pretty much everything that's in the box has now been transformed into the wood. You see over here, this was outside of the box, it didn't get painted. That box down there didn't get painted either because it's not inside the box either. It's underneath. So whatever's in that selection area you can paint. If I wanted to take my add tool, I can click this and I can fill that whole entire selection area up using the add tool. I can do a Control Z and it will go back one step of whatever it is that I did. You can use Control Z to go back as far as 20 steps of whatever it is that you've done. If you've painted something and you didn't like it and you did it within 20 clicks, it'll fix it for you. It'll take it back to wherever it was prior. The next thing is you can use your delete tool on that selection box as well. And by clicking that, it deletes everything that was within that selected frame. The selection tool, if you hold Control, excuse me, let me go back to my selection tool here. You see these little boxes here, or these little triangles? I can take that particular edge that's that turns blue, and I can stretch that one edge a particular direction. and that can, you know, I can manipulate that selected area quite a bit. Gonna delete out all the little junk here. The next thing I want to do is I want to show you the line tool. So I'm gonna make 2 boxes here, and I'm gonna fill it up with wood or something. I'm going to take that item, I'm going to do a control copy, I'm going to do a control paste, and it gives me a duplicate of what I just did. I hold shift and tab, and then press just tab, and it kind of circulates through my different tools usage, and then use my mouse wheel to kind of turn it around. And I'm going to hold shift and a left click, and then I can move this up like so. Now I'm going to put my little checkbox and then escape out of everything there. The next thing I'm going to show is a line tool, and that is this one right here. And as you can see, it looks flat, and I can use my mouse wheel to make that little square bigger, and I can select something here, drag it up to here, and click, and it gives me angles. That's how you can manipulate your different angle sizes and stuff. The only downside to the to this line tool is you cannot do a single voxel to a single voxel. It won't let me do it for some reason. Now if I use my mouse wheel and make it a little bit bigger, it will let me do it. They're still working on that tool, and I have cussed Dave Jorgensen out quite a bit about that. I want that single voxel. And if you do that, you can get some pretty funky shapes with it. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to kind of go over is this last tool, which is the heal tool. And I'm going to come over here to the edge of my property so I can show you this. I'm going to use my selection tool, and I'm going to select this box right here. What the heal tool does is it literally will heal a area of selected land or unselected land and revert it back to its factory defaults, basically. If I use that heal tool on this selection area, it basically heals it. It kind of looks like the delete key, but if you notice, all the sand over here is healed, it's not gone. Now if I use my delete tool on it, it would delete out that area. I'll use my heal tool back on it again, and it just heals up the land. It's really handy if you kind of screwed up an area and, well, maybe you wanted to set it back to factory defaults. But that is your tool basics. I'll kind of go a little bit advanced here right quick. If you notice these little things that I have on this little platform, where they get from big all the way to small, you can't do this anymore, by the way. It only goes probably around 8 to the full size. But this is what you can do using a selection tool and a smooth tool on top of a voxel. It turns them into what is called a micro voxel. And I'll kind of go over the smooth tool here using my little angle I have right here. Or I'll make a new one. How's that? Alright. I'm going to select this box here. As you can tell, it's a 2x2 box. Now, the smooth tool is a very intricate little piece of poop that you're going to hate after a while, because it will actually eat away something way more than what you wanted it to. And the developers are working on it again to put it back to the way it was during alpha, when it actually worked like it was supposed to. But what the smooth tool does is basically well, it smooths things out. But as you can tell, I just clicked it too many times, and everything that was in the box is now gone because it smooths it too much. You can actually, let's see if I can bring it back. Oops, went too far. Okay, there we go. Now, but you can smooth it down just a little bit, and I'm going to deselect it, but you can see you can make an almost round size little thing here. The bigger the item it is, the better the outcome actually happens. And the more you play with it, the more you'll actually understand what you can and can't do with it. For example, over here, at the edge of this gate, I'm not worried about messing it up, so I'm going to take my smooth tool, and see how you got this really hard edge, like a straight 90-degree angle? I can use my smooth tool right on that edging and smooth it out to where it's like just kind of rounds it out, so it looks like it kind of molds in. It's kind of hard to tell on the screen probably, but you kind of get the idea. You have different types of, you have a circle and you have a square, and you can switch between the two using your C key. You can also expand it out towards bigger, you know, like I can do whole entire areas using the big one by using your mouse wheel to make it bigger. I know this kind of seems like a lot to take in, but just kind of bear with me as I ramble on and all that kind of good stuff. Most of you do not have a grappling hook, but if you're watching the screen, you can see what I've done using the smoothing tool right here. You can make little gadgets and stuff like that using the smooth tool, like this rounded shape and how it comes down into a point. Play with it enough, you can actually make some pretty interesting things with the smoothing tool. Let's see, kind of getting off track here, but let me go back to my list. Alright, this is kind of going to go into a different area of the whole game, but I've kind of gone over most of the basics so far. So I'm going to kind of bring you into my main desk, and so everybody can actually see other stuff here. On downsides the game, and I'm going to bring up good old MS Paint. This is how I pretty much plan out how I'm going to make a roof, how I'm going to make a round circle, or I'm going to make a dome or anything like that. A lot of times I'll take MS Paint and I'll draw it out first. And basically, if you take some of these basic tools in here, like the oval, I mean, you can kind of draw out almost exactly the size that you need. How many, if you pay attention down here at the very bottom, the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see 86 by 60 pixels. I'm not sure if you can see that on your screen or not, but you'll see exactly how many pixels wide it is. Now, those pixels is 1 pixel equals basically 1 voxel, and 1 voxel is that 1 cube that I placed down on the ground. So you can literally draw out exactly what it is that you're wanting to make using MS Paint. If you open up MS Paint, you go to View and you turn on Grid Lines, and you'll see the individual squares, and that will kind of make it a little easier to kind of create something. If you've actually watched the video, you've probably seen my lion's head on the Mega Claim, and I'll show you how I did that. This is what I made it from, and basically I found a picture of a lion online, and I literally shrank it down until it started getting pixelated. And the pixelating is this these little edges right along like the nose here. You can actually see the pixelating of it. Once you get it down to this size, you can pretty much figure out how big you're going to make it. I can resize it even more by doing my percent or by pixel wise to get it down to exactly the size that I want it. And you can lay out a basic design based on that. And this is how I made the actual outside frame for my lion's head. And if I can find my other picture here under all these windows. Bear with me a second. And of course I opened it up in something I didn't want to, but this will work anyway. You can see how I've got it set up inside my Photoshop as well under grids. But you can see you've got the individual voxels, and that's how I did the width of it. So I found a picture that was pretty close, and I got it pretty much the same height and width as the other image, and narrowed it down to where I can do a statue. And you can also do the same thing with houses. You can do it with just about anything when you're kind of planning on how to do whatever it is you want to do inside the game. So that's basically building concepts and how to. The next thing I want to do is templates. Now, say I wanted to keep this item of whatever this poopy stuff looks. I wanted to save it so I could use it somewhere else. I can save this as a template. If I use my selection tool, I select pretty much everything that I want to save inside of that box. And once I save it or have it selected, I come up here to the side menu and I come down to templates, click create new, and I give it a name, and I'm going to name this poop just because it looks like poop, and we're going to click OK. Now I can come back over here into this same little section where the little house is, and if I scroll down through all my templates, there it is, there's poop. I select it and I hit place, and there's my template. And that will allow you to basically mass produce something if you are trying to build something on a grand scale or whatever, and you want to reuse something over and over again. That gate right there, it was saved as a template, and basically the base circle of this tower was saved as a template. This round circle over here was also saved as a template because I use it in a lot of my designs. I took part of that circle over here and I made this design right here on the tower. I just took a small section of it and used it as part of my design. And you can kind of do whatever you want to once you get it pasted down from your template. Let's see, the next thing, the micro voxels. I probably shouldn't even go over all this, but I'm going to make a box right quick, and I'm going to bring this up. Bring this in a little bit because I don't need it that big. I'm going to make it an odd number. It up. Okay. And there we go. That'll do. Now I'm going to fill this in with something light. Let's go with a light color here. I'll go with stucco. And then I'm going to select just the inside. I'm going to turn this center part here into something else. Let's make it obsidian. If I can learn how to click on stuff. And then, after I get that, I'm going to take a selection of something else. I'm going to change this into stucco. And you can, like this grass on the ground, or this particular pattern, I can, right now it's set to polished obsidian. If I hit Alt, it's just like in your little eyedropper effect inside of MS Paint or Photoshop or whatever. You can actually select that material, and if you see, it just changed. Just by holding my Alt key and then clicking my mouse on it, it actually drops in that particular texture type. I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to fill that in. That's my buddy Ixnol. So there's my basic shape of what I'm kind of making, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a micro voxel on it. Like I said, making a micro voxel, I'm going to do this right quick so you can actually see what it is I'm doing. I make a shape like this. I take my selection tool and I select it. I take my smooth tool and I click it on that item. If you see, it distorts it, it makes it smaller. And the more I use my smooth tool on it, the smaller it gets. Okay, so that's basically what I'm doing, is creating a micro voxel, something that's smaller than a standard voxel. And this little pattern that I showed you earlier, right here behind me, pretty much illustrates those micro voxels. But I have just made one here, so I'm going to copy this using Control C, and I'm going to paste it right here in the center of this box that I just made. And I'm going to use a Control V so I can lay it on the ground, Control Tab so I can rotate it, and I'm going to manipulate this just a little bit so I can get it into place. And I'm going to hold a Shift click, and you really can't tell it, but you can see the point of the micro voxel right here. I'm going to move that inside of my pattern, and I want you to watch these 4 squares in here as I click check. You see how it manipulated, let me get off my tools here. You see how it manipulated the actual design pattern up here. It literally pulled those surrounding voxels into like a point where that micro voxel was asphyxiated. The actual engine doesn't know how to deal with it, so what it does is it pulls those outside voxels into itself and allows you to create these really cool designs like this. And I've seen some phenomenal stuff that people have done with these micro voxels in this fashion. There's a bunch of things that you can do in the game, and there's tutorials all over the internet on how to do micro voxels and stuff like that, so I'm not going to go into major detail. I'll kind of leave that up to you to kind of do your own research and find. But there it is. That's micro voxels, and I'm almost finished with my rambling. So the next thing we're going to go over is the future of the game. As everybody knows, this is Landmark. This is not Next. There are 2 totally separate games. But the basis for Next is what you see inside this game. This game here actually has a long way to go, but it is the groundwork for the big MMO that they're creating, and this Landmark will actually be a part of it. it's a lot of the things that you can make in here, you can template it, and you'll actually be able to sell it on a market. And you can actually buy those items here in the market that's going to be in this game, as well as the MMO that comes out hopefully next year sometime, or at least alpha next year. They are adding PvP. They are adding you can actually create NPCs for your property. They're going to add monsters, quests, all that kind of stuff inside of this game, even though it isn't the MMO version. There's also going to be several layers upon layers of caverns and stuff underneath your feet where you're standing right now, and that will actually open the game up quite a bit for other materials, other places to go to do like just exploring. And but that is pretty much everything I can think of off the top of my head. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask.
Well, actually, you explained it way more than I initially think. Actually answer a lot of questions that I initially had during the whole tutorial.
Alright, I probably got a little too advanced than what I should have, but there's a lot that you can do in the game. There's so much that is out there, and there's plenty of places you can go to get information that's probably better than what I can show you. I have a tendency, if I'm actually working on something, I'll totally block out whatever's being said to me, and I'll just be sitting there rambling to myself. Anybody have any questions, especially you guys who just got in here?
I'm still working on the T1, T2 kind of stuff.
All right, but like I said, the first part of everything is going to be just gathering materials. Like I said, I was lucky. I've been hanging out with a group that was pretty well organized in Landmark, and I had top tier everything pretty much within the first 4 hours. We literally had about 40 people working together. I'm going to show you my pulverizer, and I'll show you what it does right quick. And just kind of a little bonus, because a certain person really wants my pulverizer.
Yay!
All right. The pulverizer, basically, you can come out to.
Wait.
What, are you sitting out dynamite?
Venom, you need to come here.
All right. Basically, what a pulverizer does is it does this.
We don't want Creelites to have one of these.
It's dangerous.
It will literally clear out everything around a given material. It's very limited on its range, but you'll be able to see how these material nodes actually look, because I'll clear out everything around it pretty much. And you can actually clear out everything around a particular material, so, well, you don't really have to worry about it anymore. And also, like I said, a grappling hook is the greatest thing in the world, because it'll get you out of a hole. So there is a material, and all you got to do now is bring out your pick and start whacking away. But yeah, that's the pulverizer. There's other tools and stuff that you can have in the game, but that was probably the most fun, just because if if you find somebody who's AFK, you can kind of walk up underneath of them and dig a hole and put them in it.
They fall in, yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty much everything I got. So kind of end the little tutorial here, and we'll see what we can do about getting it up on YouTube or something so everybody can see it. Make sure you look at the EverQuest Next landmark section at the Sinister Swarm, because I have put a beginner's guide. It is up now, and I've also got there's a video of the mega claim that I worked on. Let's see, what else have I put up there? A bunch of links. I've got a bunch of links up there, and here pretty soon I'll have an Excel spreadsheet that'll show you exactly how much materials you need to create all of your forges. I've also got another Excel spreadsheet that I'm finishing up that will basically show you exactly how much of what materials to make whatever given items. And that way you don't have to keep running back and forth between wherever you're at and somebody else's forge. And pretty much with that, I'm going to end this stream, and welcome to Landmark.
Hell, so